So, how would you like to walk around alive on fire all the time? You understand? Like, man, the Most High, man, he just, I prayed, he heard my prayer. And this happened. And things are working out for you in the earth. You understand? Those are the wonders of heaven. But contrary-wise, you know when you go to a locked door, you run into a dead end. Denied. You understand? Denied. Now you got to turn. Instead of turning it towards the Most High, like, it's because I've been wicked and lawless and breaking commandments. Now you need to turn it, well, it's because of the color of my skin. It's like, you know, they hate us. Yeah, we Israel, they hate us. You got to turn to some other alternative other than what the Most High said. Listen, man, I'm rejecting you because you're not doing well. Y'all get what I'm saying? Right. So now, we Ecclesiasticus in the Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 19. And they that do things that please him shall receive. Israel, so we got to get the ball running so that we can receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. Okay? Yes, that's the understanding of the word of the Most High. Okay? The things that's going to help us live forever. But also, remember, the Lord said all that therein is, he got cattle on 1,000 hills. Everything that's in this earth belongs to the Most High. And he can definitely give it to you. He can definitely give it to you. He can definitely help you to get it. He said he'll feed you with the heritage of Jacob. I don't want to go too sidetracked. One day we went to a class about Jacob and his inheritance that he inherited. The man was filthy rich, man. When do you know that somebody that worked for somebody had more than the person that they worked for? When he worked for his uncle Laban, and they wasn't no small time. There wasn't no small time people, man. No. Remember, they was the leaders of the earth. You get what I'm saying? What you see now, this is the madness. I understand what, but let's not think about now. Let's think about then. They were the leaders of the earth. And Laban, he had farm. He had beasts. He had cattle. He had wealth. And Jacob, his stuff like quadruple, man. His stuff was better than his uncles. To the point where his uncles had to keep changing his wages to try and figure out how you got more than I got. But who was it though? It was the Most High. That's who it was. It was the Most High. You got to remember his grandfather, Abraham, was rich and wealthy. So that passed down to his son Isaac. Now Isaac passed the wealth down to his son Jacob. Then on top of that, the wealth that he accumulated because he feared the Most High, and he also feared his father too. And that's why he didn't go astray and deal wrong with Laban. He said, except the fear of Isaac had been in me, man, I would have. Then I think he stopped. He went off into being carnal. But he had kept the fear of the Most High. So do we expect Jacob to inherit the kingdom of the Father? Exactly, yes. And also he had wealth. So the fruit of the tree of immortality, it consists of all of that. How do we do it though? It's going to take some sufferings. It's going to take some denying yourself. It's going to take not being lawless. You got to sacrifice. You got to take that chance. You got to open that door, go down that avenue to see and make sure that, hey, prove the Most High. Go on your own personal mission. Don't do it, for a man, a woman, a son, a daughter. Prove the Most High. Go down that direction yourself. Okay? So now, verse 20, here's our point. It says, and the fear of the Lord is wisdom, and in all wisdom is what? The performance of the law. So there has to be a performance. So that's what the Most High, like he knows what we need before we ask. So once he teaches us, we know what he needs. And he needs this performance. He needs this to be done. Because if it's not done, trust and believe, go ahead and have fun today. Oh, get it all out. Get it all out. express yourself. Feel froggy. But know for sure that you're going to pay for it. And it ain't going to be what you bargained for. Because you think that you're doing a little sin. You're like, this is a little sin. This is little. I know he ain't going to kill me. Bam. Bam. You go get it. You go get it. Because it ain't just been that one thing happen. Because you can't just do one thing, man. When you sin, you can't just do one thing. Because spirits, they roll in legions. And what y'all don't understand is a lot of Israelites, they have a legion of spirits on them, man. Many. Hundreds. Thousands. That's why it ain't nothing they won't do. When you wicked, it ain't nothing you won't do. Can't be trusted in nothing. You will do everything that's on earth. Trust and believe. All you got to do is be tempted. And you will be into it. So, is it? And the knowledge of his omnipotency. So let's lose that. Let's go back to Ecclesiastes chapter 8. And verse 11.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily.
That's the sin. Go ahead.
Therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
All right, so they have made their mind up to say, hey, there's nothing wrong with this. This explains why you see people breaking the laws. Because ain't nothing happened. But if the Most High had speedily had judged them, then maybe they would have stopped. But you know what he do? He reserved them. They keep taking the bait. He reserved them. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged.
So he had an opportunity to commit that sin 100 times. Yeah, 100 times. That's a lot, man. That's over the course of, his life, and his days be prolonged, meaning we continue to see him or her live. And why this is happening, what are you hearing? Shalom, shalom, shalom. You hear that? I see it all the time. You hear people, they know they're Israel, but then they turn their foot to sin. Go ahead.
Yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God.
Right, so a sinner doesn't fear God. If you know, there's two different types of sin. Okay, let's get it. There's two different types of sin. What are they?
Oh man, can I say?
Sure. Not if you don't know.
It's a sin that bringing forth shame and one that bringing forth glory and grace.
Okay, looking for something else. That's correct though.
Conscious and unconscious, like you know what you did, a person that really knows, like they ignorant.
All right. Leviticus 4. Leviticus chapter 4 and read verse 1.
This is Leviticus chapter 4 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a soul shall sin through ignorance against any of the commandments of the Lord concerning things which ought not to be done, and shall do against any of them, If the priest that is anointed do sin according to the sin of the people, then let him bring for his sin, which he had sinned, a young bullock without blemish unto the Lord for a sin offering.
Right. So it would be the same thing. He would do the same thing that the people would do. So if someone, and this is before Christ, if someone sinned, so that I showed you this law because there are sins that you are committed that you are unaware of. You sin through ignorance. And it's to the point to where you don't know. But then when you find out, then now you have to apply. So at the time, when the sin, when it was brought to your attention, then you would have to bring the young bullock without blemish unto the Father for a sin offering. Okay? So that is Leviticus chapter 4, verses 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So that's a sin through ignorance. So now let's get Job chapter 32. (34 and 32). Job 34 and 32.
This is Job chapter 34 and verse 32. That which I see not, teach thou me. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more.
Right. So now Job is talking about what? Ignorance, sinning through ignorance. We'll slow down. So at the same time, get Ecclesiasticus chapter 20. So you should be holding two things. You should be holding Job 34 and 32 and Ecclesiasticus chapter 20. Job 34 and 32. Y'all good? Let's go. So it says, that which I see not, teach thou me. Meaning the things that I don't see, things that I'm ignorant of, do what? Teach us. Why would we be asking the Father to teach us? Because things might be happening to us in our life. And we're wondering why are things happening unto us in our life. And you'll be doing everything that you know to possibly do. Right? You'll be doing everything that you know to possibly do, to do the right thing. And yet, certain things are happening unto you. And you're like, wait a minute. What am I doing? What am I doing wrong? Somewhere, you sinning against the Lord ignorantly. It could be your diet, what you earn, clothes, thoughts, humility, the way you respond, places that you go, people that you hang with. Yeah, you can have an evil friend. You can have wicked, evil communication, corrupt good manners. The Father has got you. You a work in progress. He's trying to do something with you. And it's like, remember when we were young and our mothers used to put those nice little clothes on us? We go outside and we go outside. She ain't even finished getting dressed yet. And we would go outside and get him all messed up. Or you would go and eat something or drink something and you got stuff all down the shirt. She's like, wait a minute, we ain't even went nowhere yet. So she's trying to get you together and you're destroying it. So that's how God is, the Most High is. The Most High is trying to get you together and you go and destroy the work. How? By evil communication. So that could be something that could be plaguing you. You coming from someplace, you get pulled over 5 tickets. You've been driving like that for a long time. You're like, well, why did I get this? I've been driving like this. Where'd you just... When somebody be telling me something happened to me, I go straight to the source. I don't play around with you. Shit. You don't play with you for. I'm not here to play with you. You're like, okay, who was you with? Oh, yeah, I was with my cousin them. Them things. Your cousin them? Could you call them, man? Where were y'all at? Oh, man. We was blase here and blase there. Oh, all right. Well, hey, what do you thought was going to happen then? You are different from them. He called you to do this and you're not being obedient. So now he going to chastise you. Now that he chastised you, now we're on the phone and he's trying to show and tell you the thing that you're doing wrong. It happens like that. We just don't think that because you have not been taught to correlate the events in this earth with the scriptures. You just think it's all by chance that everything is the color of your skin and the white man who is the devil the Bible talks about. You just think that it's his fault all the time. You don't take no responsibility for your actions, which is lawless. When are you going to give an account to say, hey man, I've been doing the wrong thing. And because I've been doing the wrong thing, these judgments have fell down upon me. And he just used his minister of wrath, which don't feel good. A belt is a tool. A gun is a tool. A knife is a tool. A grenade, a bomb is a tool. Anything could be used as a weapon. But what the Father, he used another piece of flesh. Somebody that bear deadly hate towards you. They bear deadly hate towards you. When they look at you, they despise you. When they look at you, man, you ain't worth the dust. That's why they always put the boot on your head. They knee in your neck. And don't let them know you can't breathe. They really gonna cringe down even more. You better be like sucking that little air until he can get off. Because if you let him know you can't breathe, he gonna, I got you right where I want you. He'll snuff your life. And then find himself not guilty. Like, he died resisting arrest. See, that's the judgment of the Most High. Okay? So, where do we stop at?
We read Job 34.
Yeah. So, that which I see not, teach thou me. Okay, you want the Most High to teach you the stuff, because this is you know you doing some things right, but then there's other things that you ignorant in. What is an indicator that the Most High is trying to get your attention? Yeah, we use blessings as an indicator, but do you ever use pain as an indicator? Just like you walking and then you feel pain, you know, in your leg, you compensate, you limp, you ease up on it. You ease up on it. Like, I don't want to put no more pressure on that thing. Something is going wrong right here. So the Father, man, he will use indicators to show you that you're being rejected. Your actions are not being accepted. That's when you're going to need somebody to actually tell you the truth. Yo, how's your lifestyle? I'll be your buddy, your pal, a good friend. Call me, talk. Let's chop it up. But what I cannot do is spare the teachings of the scriptures. When something is wrong, now we got to find out, okay, you know, well, what's wrong? What are you doing in your life? What sins do you know about? Then I might question you, because I know that there are some certain basic surface things, you know, that doesn't take deep prowling to find out, you know, is your quality of life lining up with the Father? Because the Father is putting all of us on display. Our life is meant to be a spectacle, man. He's trying to wake his children up. So that he's going to use somebody that's full of dead works, or somebody fervent in spirit serving the Lord. Somebody fervent in spirit serving the Lord. That's who he wants. So all of you deadbeats, he's not using you. Because you're not fear the Most High. So you're going to teach somebody not to fear him? You not know you. You're the pinnacle of what not to do. You're not the poster child of the Most High. You in your mind feeling like, oh, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. No. All right. So, what's that? Next one. Ecclesiastes 20. We're dealing with the ignorance. Sinning through ignorance. Okay. That can be repaired. That's hope. If you humble yourself. Ecclesiastes chapter 20 and verse 3.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 20 and verse 3. How good is it when thou art reproved to show repentance? For so shalt thou escape willful sin.
Right, you can escape. You'll escape willful sin then. Because if you're in a sin and somebody is reproving you, are you ignorant? Not no more. Not no more, because the Father is talking to you. That's the problem that we don't seem to realize. That the Most High is talking to us. When you read Matthew chapter 10 and 20, it says it's not you that speaketh, but the Spirit of your Father that speaketh in you. So as soon as you get angry and you don't want to hear it, now you intentionally in that sin. So when we are reproved, if we're ignorant and we get reproved, the scriptures say it is good to show repentance. It is good to acknowledge, I didn't know that. Let that person know, I didn't know that. You know, but contrary-wise, what are some of the faces that we see? You reprove somebody and they're supposed to show repentance. What is the face that they show you? Who?
Like annoyance. Like
Annoyed. All right. Anybody else?
Like probably what I'm talking about. Proud look.
Okay. 1 Peter 2. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 20.
This is 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 20.
Give it a moment.
First Peter chapter 2 and verse 20.
I think that this, okay, so Francisco said amazed or surprised. Somebody else said annoyed. I think that this right here is probably going to be the top of the list. Not because I chose it, but because I think that you guys are going to agree after we read it. Just remember the look on people's face when you telling them that they went off, that they doing something wrong. Read it.
1 Peter 2 and 20. For what glory is it, if when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye take it patiently?
What look did it say they have on their face? A patient look. Can y'all attest to that? You ever been correcting somebody and they seem to be taking it like y'all having a casual conversation? Right. Like what you saying is okay, I'm listening to you. Like I understand it's informative. How should they be? They should be broken. No. Go back to Ecclesiastes 20. Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 20 and verse 3 again. How good is it when thou art reproved to show repentance?
Right. You're supposed to show repentance. Now let's get Psalms. This is what should come out. Somebody correcting you on your faults, your mistakes, your sins. Psalms. Chapter 51. And verse 17.
This is Psalms chapter 51 and verse 17.
Give them a chance to get it. So now when you read this, this is the look that's supposed to be on your face. You was ignorant. Now you being showed. Or, let's make sure that what I'm saying is right. Okay? What about willful sin? Especially if you know that you're doing, if you know that you're in the wrong, and somebody end up correcting you, you caught. This is it here. You sinning through ignorance and somebody correcting you, somebody informing you, you know, maybe that look at it. Click it. He changed it. You know, maybe this puzzle looked like, dang, you know, I was, you know, a saddened countenance. You understand? Either or. But especially willful sin, this here. 17.
This is Psalms 51 and 17. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit.
Right. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit. A broken spirit. Like I can't move on to the next moment. I'm in this moment. Because what's the wages of sin? What is the payment? What God can pay you for that sin, death. He could pay you for that. So you should actually be afraid of not having success. Like me, I'm afraid to break the Most High's commandments because there are severe consequences that's going to come behind breaking his laws. I can't afford setbacks. He's going to hit me where it hurts, man. Bam. He's going to hit you where it hurts. So I don't want nothing in my future to come. I sure the heck don't want nothing in my present. I don't even want nothing tomorrow. I don't want no static. I don't want no static with the Most High. I don't want the Most High to have no reason to come against me or change my life. I'm already at a struggle because I'm living, you know, under another rule, man, under a tyrant. So then I gotta dealing with oppression and then dealing with being rejected. No, nobody want that. When you see that, that's when you see the people with the hardest lives. The Most High be opposing them and oppression be opposing them. And everybody just walk by, man. Don't nobody want that life. How do you avoid that? By making peace with your God. Having that broken spirit. You're going to sacrifice, have a broken spirit for the stuff that you've been doing wrong. That's the beginning. Okay, go ahead.
A broken and a contrite heart.
Contrite. What is a contrite heart? A heart that's ready to turn. This is an anchor, Mikhail. Contrite heart. A heart that's ready to turn. First I was breaking the laws. Now I don't want to break no laws no more. Should it take a straight beat down from the Father to make you not want to break his laws? No, I shouldn't take that. I always wonder, what force does it take? What's your breaking point? What's your breaking point? What is it going to take for you to change or turn? Near-death experience, the loss of bodily functions, some terminal disease. Terminal meaning you're going to end up dying from it. Some severe affliction, severe poverty. Because you cannot be lawless and the Most High is calling you. Because if he's calling you, then you're not ignorant. He don't just call your name Judah. Judah. But then he don't tell you what to do. That's the thing. When he called your name, he called you to repent. Then he sent out servants called prophets to tell you to repent. And they give you specific instructions on what you should do and how you should do it. And then they even tell you these little things in the parentheses like this, man. They give you a guideline, man. Might bit it wrong, but I'm sorry. I'm writing backwards so that they can see forward. I got something mixed up right. Statutes is what I'm trying to write. You know what the statutes is? The limitation. They tell you how far to go. Just like on the highway, there's a statute. The statutes of limitation. The lowest you can go is 40. In the intercity, the highest you can go is like 60. If you go beneath 40, cars going to be honking at you. If you go past 60, the police going to honk you. They're going to honk at you. Woo, woo, woo. They're going to pull you over. Then they're going to question you. They're going to go all through your car. They're going to find out that your driver's license is suspended, that you don't have no insurance. You got that old insurance card that you had when you first bought the car. They're going to find out that you actually bootlegging, that you're not keeping it 100. Then they're going to then they might get you on the seatbelt. They might get you for the bad inspection. You have no inspections on the car. So you understand your safety inspections, that's gone. Okay, well, there ain't no problem why he writing all these things. See, because if you had still stay within the statutes, then it wouldn't have been no problem. But no, you had to fly like my mom used to say, bat out of hell. You know what I'm saying? You had to just fly up out of this thing, right? You going down, 75 miles an hour. They set a speed trap for you. Because you went over the statute. But if you had been between 40 and 60, you'd have cruised on through. Nobody wouldn't have messed with you. You got outside. So we got statutes too. Yeah. Sabbath day statute. No cooking, cleaning, buying, selling, laborers work from one time period to another time period. From even to even. The 6th day of even to the 7th day of even. Okay? Black. The sky's black. The sun is not out. The sun is probably gone away now. It's not the Sabbath. If it was the 6th day, you still got light. If you got light, then you have time. Use that to your advantage. Finish your affairs. But don't let the sky turn black and now you still got the oven on. No, now you lawless. Now you without the law. You have went away from the statute. Okay? That's just an example. Okay? So, when you find these things out, you're supposed to have a heart that's ready to halt. That's ready to turn. That's what contrite is. Not, oh, I'm going to press it again and see because I got away with it this time. A lot of people do that. Then they be in your face talking about shalom. No, man, it ain't peace. The Most High ain't bringing peace. He's bringing judgment for you. Okay? So, let's go to Psalms 81. Psalms 81 and verse 10.
This is Psalms chapter 81 and verse 10. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Out, open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it.
Right. In other words, eat. He's going to fill you with the scriptures. You must eat. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. Go ahead.
Verse 11. But my people would not hearken to my voice.
Who did his voice? But my people would not hearken unto my voice. How did they hear the voice of God? Right, by the prophets. Okay, by the prophets. Jeremiah 25. 23? Yeah, 23. Same thing, very close. Jeremiah chapter 23 and 4 is there.
This is Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 4. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them. And they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed. Neither shall they be lacking, said the Lord.
Right. So if the Father is set up shepherds over you, what does the shepherd do? A shepherd would lead the flock. Feed the flock of the slaughter. You getting slaughtered for breaking the laws. So the Lord said, open your mouth, he's going to feed you. He's going to put in your mouth what you're supposed to be doing. Once it's in your mind, it's going to come out your mouth. It's going to come out your mouth into everybody that's around you. But when it's in your mind, you have to be doing it. You can't just let it enter into your mind, but then you're not willing to walk into it. So he said that he will set up shepherds over them. So the shepherds should be an example of what needs to be done. So as you see our example of what needs to be done, you have to set your house up the same way that we set our house up according to the scriptures. Okay? So it says they shall, okay? So we're not going to fear the tyrant, neither are we going to fear the judgment of the Most High coming down against us, because now we're within the covenant. It says, nor be dismayed, meaning we're not going to be confused. Neither shall they be lacking. Lacking means I don't know what to do. See, the Father will bring you and put you in situations so that you can learn what to do. It's at that point, it's your obligation whether you're going to do it or not. You got to make that decision if you're going to do it or not. Nobody going to force you. You know, they can plead with you, they can try and convince you, they can try and persuade you, but they can't twist your arm and make you do it. The persuasive ways that we use with all the precepts is because we don't want to see the downfall of a person. Let's go back to Psalms 81 and verse 11.
This is Psalm chapter 81 and verse 11. But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me.
And Israel would none of me. What does that mean? And
They ain't got nothing to do with him.
They don't want to have nothing to do with them. Okay. Right. They don't want to have nothing to do with them. What would they have to do? Like, what would they have to do?
Hearken.
Hearken to what?
The people that were selling what they were doing was wrong.
That's right. They will have to hearken unto the people that was telling them what they doing wrong. That's right. Go ahead.
Verse 12. So I gave them up unto their own hearts.
So what do you think happened with that? What does that look like? Pay attention, everybody. So I gave them up unto their own hearts lust. What does that look like? Right, hold up. I'll give them some chance to answer. The first thing is, I spelled that wrong. The first thing, the prophet stopped teaching. How would y'all like that? You thinking global for Israel as a nation. That ain't gonna happen. They gonna just stop saying something to you. How would you like it if we all get preoccupied? You got headphones on, you getting out of the car, a car coming. They in their phone. Today's world is so screwed up and so preoccupied, we stay like this. You get two people like this, you have a collision. You have a collision. Well, how would you like it if somebody stood to the side, saw you stepping out, preoccupied, and the other person in their phone And they didn't stop you. They didn't pull you back in. They just let you go out there to your final destination. That's what I see. I don't know what you see. But that's what it's like when the Father called his prophets back. He said, you know what? Don't say nothing. When would it get to that point? How about when you decide that I'm totally not saying that, I'm not listening to nothing you say? A person knows if you listening, if you listening, like if I'm teaching you and you're listening and you're taking the advice, because I'm going to see that you walk in it. Right? I'm going to see that you walk in it. If you're not walking in it, then you're not taking the advice. Sooner or later, the Father's going to say, stop it. Let him be. That's when he's going to give you over unto your own lust, to your desires. And those are the things that's going to rain down all the fire. And he's going to be justified. And he's going to call into remembrance all the times when he tried to reach you, but nobody was home. You're like ringing the doorbell. Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. And you on that porch like, I know they in there. Like, I know they in there. You ringing the doorbell, you knocking on the door, you even knocking on the side, you going against the code, the house code. Now, you don't knock on nobody's window. They like, don't knock, you gonna break my window out. You don't knock on that window, but you knocking, we did all of that. The prophets would do all of those things. But guess who didn't want to be disturbed? Because you were in your lust. That's when the Father was like, that's bag on back, I got it from her. That is bad, Israel. That is bad. All you got to do, man, is open your eyes and look at the generation that you live in. All the people that's down beneath on the ground, man, how you think they got there? They wasn't like that. I'm telling y'all, it wasn't like that. I know cats that was like, we ain't gonna put the scriptures away, but let's just talk like what we call life. I know cats that was players. When I say players, meaning I don't know if they was playing women, but they was just playing the game of life. I really mean that part right there. They were just playing the game of life. They were up and they were at it. They were like a few years older than I was. I always looked up to them. I was like, man, this dude, he got it going on. It's certain things that we see and like about people that make them hip. Whether it's what they wear, how they talk, how they act, you know what I'm saying? Their arrogancy, their personality, or whatever, right? And those moments, they stick with you for life. Some of those same people I see right now in hell, man. They chained down in hell. It's this one guy that's out here. Y'all, I'm sure if I showed y'all this guy up on this board, y'all, everybody in here would be like, I seen that guy. That dude was the coolest doggone dude, man. The Most High jacked him up. Right now, his body is made like this. That's his neck, and that's his head. Right now, his body is made like that. And that's how he walking. I grew up as a teenager. That dude there, he wasn't like that, man. He was a normal person, man. He stood straight up. And he was the coolest dude, man. It was one of my homeboys. It was his uncle. It was his uncle. I think he might have sold drugs or something, but I ain't never seen him sold drugs. I don't want to give him no case, but I thought he was cool for some reason. He acted heavy, like it was important or whatever. But right now today, man, he asking for quarters, man. He's just getting worse and worse, man. It saddens me to think that his life, that it deteriorated to that. But what got him like that? The Most High did, man. These dudes be out here robbing, stealing, killing, breaking homes, breaking all the Most High's commandments. And he ain't the only person. I see a lot of cats, that's like that. It's just yesterday I go to the station. I was at a grass cutting day, and I go to get something to drink. I had nothing to eat, so I go and get some water, some chips or something, so I can finish cutting the grass. And this guy, he's far younger than I am, but you wouldn't think so. His beard and his hair is gray. He about 6'3", 6'4", and I felt bad because I was, I set a pace. I try to distance myself from him because I know, he's begging for dope, and so he tried to hit me with this line. He said, "Yo, T, man, help me get something. Give me some change so I can get something to drink." I said, "Okay, what you want to drink?" "Nah, I'm gonna go down the street and get something down there, man." I said, I just went on and got my stuff and came back out. So I come out, he's falling up behind me. He's like, "What happened?" I said, "Man, I tried to offer you something to drink. You didn't want it. I just got in my truck and pulled off." He's trying to get some stuff for dope. I ain't buying nobody no dope. But this was a young dude. His whole face looked like he's damn near like 70, 80 years old, man. All his skin is dropped. He's on drugs. His eyes look like they're going to fall out. Israel, when the Most High bag up off of you, I tell you who brother it is. Y'all know the dude that's got the little bump pop truck around here that's orange and white? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's his younger brother. Now, this dude ain't old. That's his younger brother, standing 6'3", 6'4", bugged out like that, man. That's his younger brother. Snapped all out. He looked like Grady, man, off of Sanford and Son. And he ain't even 30, man. He might, if that, time passed, but he shouldn't be looking like that. And he just looked like, feel sorry for me. I'm not degrading him. I'm trying to put that fear in y'all to say you're gonna be next if you don't keep if you think that you're gonna just make mockery and make a fool out of the Most High, man, he gonna show you up. It's gonna be too late. You ain't gonna be able to call again yesterday. You're only setting yourself up for destruction. He said, verse Psalms 81:12. "So I gave them up." Yeah, you wouldn't listen. So I gave them up unto their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels. So where did that get them? You smoke dope. What does dope do? Dope, it make all your teeth rot out. It destroys your insides. You can't get a job. Somebody else is telling me that somebody is telling them P for B in the cup. You don't do nothing. Nobody in the truth. You don't do nothing wicked like that. Somebody is telling you to help them get a job. You and they tell them get off drugs. Then you can pass your own drug test. Then you can. The scripture say no man is. What is it? About striving lawfully.
No man reward.
No, not that. You don't receive the prize. Yeah, you don't receive the prize except you strive lawfully. So you don't get the job except you get the job. You strive lawfully. You want clean pee? Get off drugs. Pee in the cup. What kind of nasty stuff is that? Y'all had somebody ask me that years ago. You barking up the wrong tree, pal. I'll lose you forever. I'm not worried about feelings. Never. I'll tell you never in a heartbeat. Boom. You heard it. Just as fast as that heartbeat. Don't even think about it. The Most High is our life, man. When y'all in this truth, you got to let the Most High dwell in you richly. This is your faith. Okay? And wisdom and knowledge and understanding. So this the same mindset, it's got to be inside of the other people. So they'll start thinking like you. Then Israel clean their act up. Ain't nobody help them in sin. If you constantly helping somebody in sin, how they gonna come up out of sin then? You peeing in the cup for them. They gonna that day get hot. Ooh, I got a good job. My brother peed in the cup for me. you still on drugs, man. But if you get turned down, I have known people to stop doing drugs so they can get a job. Y'all know somebody like that? See how the job forced them to clean themselves up? But what would have happened if you had did that? You know, that so-called help for them. Right. Okay? So you got to tell the next person, no? Right. You told the last person, yeah, huh? Yeah, now you know. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 13. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways.
Go ahead.
I should soon have subdued their enemies.
Right. The Father said he would have subdued their enemies. All these nations that come up against you, he would have turned them off. Go ahead.
And turned my hand against their adversaries.
And he would have turned his hand against those that are adversaries to us. But instead, his hand be against us and do nothing for them. They coming against us, he like, letting it happen. Letting it happen. But if we were with him, then he'll turn his hand and smack up those adversaries. Go ahead.
Verse 15. The haters of the Lord should have submitted themselves unto him.
What did he call us? Haters. Haters. Why? Because you intentionally sin. And if you sin through ignorance and you decide, you get corrected, and you have this count, and it's like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I know what that says. The barbershop today. This brother, you know that one brother that asked, I told you to move over, let me get in this seat. I said, so, you Israelite. He said, yeah, people been telling me. So he asked him a bunch of questions. I answered him very quickly. Told him about marring himself up. Then he turns around on the way out the door. He skinned his hair from here all the way up to here. It looked like Archer Man or something. He just completely skinned his whole head up. I say, oh. So he didn't, I know that he don't understand the scriptures, because if he did, maybe he wouldn't have did it. But he just thinks. See, we think that we have a choice. Israel, that was the class before the last class about finances. That you don't have the choice that you think. The Father said, choose life that you may live, not choose death. Israel, everybody that break the law, you choosing death. You just don't know it. The haters of the Lord should have. And then the haters, you're going to figure out that you should have too. You should have submitted themselves. The precept says, yielded feigned obedience. You should have yielded obedience. Okay? Should have submitted themselves unto him. Go ahead.
But their time should have endured forever.
But it didn't endure forever. He said, but their time should have lasted forever. Go ahead.
He should have fed them also with the finest of wheat, and with honey out of the rock should I have satisfied thee.
All right. Okay, so let's lose that. Psalms 5, we started at. We did it. Ecclesiastes 8.
Different types of sin. So we stopped there.
Okay. All right. Ecclesiastes 8, and did we finish 12?
No.
Ecclesiastes 8 and 12.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 12.
And so I know we're reading and going line upon line, precept upon precept and stuff like that. I try and let the precepts do a lot of work. If it's something that we don't understand, then y'all brothers let me know. Okay?
Ecclesiastes 8 and 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged. Yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God, which fear before him.
So here.
But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feared not before God.
Right. So what happens with a shadow? When something moves, the shadow moves. It comes and it goes away. That's the lifespan, very quick, of us when we decide to choose a life of transgression. Okay. And it doesn't matter the size of their transgression. That's one thing that we think. Go back to Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 5. And verse 15.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 5 and verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything, in a great matter or a small.
Right, in a great matter or a small. For some of us, we might feel like cross-dressing, leave them alone, Sean. Cross-dressing is small. Meats is small. What I mean by meats, your diet is small. You might feel that that's small. What about having your head covered if you're a woman praying? Or what about, a lot of brothers think that it's small to have something upon their heads. You know, they try to be cool. I'm going to get the shawl. Bam, you got the shawl. You wrapped all up like you in Egypt. And then, you know, you go into the meditation and you going into prayers. You going into the Hebrew. And you going into the... And you going the hell off is what you're going into. You're like, this is small, man. Because you worry about vain glory. That's what makes a lot of these brothers, you know, a lot of people look good. Vain glory. But what did the Father say concerning it? Let's go to Matthew. No. Matthew 6 and verse 5.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 5. And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward.
Right. What is their reward? You know, all the people that see them do it, and it looks good unto them. You know, the respect that they get, the flock, entourage that comes behind that action. Israel, we're stylish people, and we think that anything looks good. And we will compromise the commandments of the Father to keep a tradition. And once you do that, you have just went off, and the person that set that example for you has went off too. That's the only reward that you're going to get. The Lord said, don't be ignorant of that. You know, He told men not to have their heads covered. Okay? And they say, well, there's, you know, this thing is open. They do something like this. And it might have a hole in it about the size of this thing here. That's open right there. It's not covered. That's open. That's open. Brother, that's open. You see that? That's open. All right. Take that and give it to your wife then. That's the head cover. If this is open and this is covered, then give this cover to her. If you give this to her, is her head covered? No, it's not. So then why you think yours is not uncovered, man? Vainglory. They worry about fashion. So remember how we said earlier, we said, listen, with Israel, you go into and you read, let's get that. Where the Father, he gave us those things. But now through Yahushua, we have to do what? We have to evolve. Let's see. Exodus 28. Exodus chapter 28 and 40.
This is Exodus chapter 28 and verse 40. And for Aaron's sons, thou shalt make coats, and thou shalt make for them girdles and bonnets, and thou shalt make for them for glory and for beauty.
All right, so now these were the priests of the Old Testament. And for the priests of the Old Testament, they had what? They had coats on. They had girdles. So let's say coat, something to completely cover up, maybe like a garment or something. Okay? And then they had the girdle, like Christ had the golden girdle, so that's fine. But then here it says a bonnet. So now let's look up what a bonnet is. You got that art where it can go off, my man? Or you got it on Tundra? You got it up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Bonnet.
Bonnet. It says a protective cover, a cap, well, a woman or child's hat tied under the chin, especially with the brim framing the face. So, in other words, a bonnet is a hat. Here it talks about something for a woman or a child. But our priests, they wore bonnets. Okay? They wore bonnets. So now, here. Go to Exodus. I think it's all the way in Exodus. Exodus 28. Yeah, Exodus 28 and 39. It's another form of head covering.
This is Exodus 28 and 39. And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen, and thou shalt make the mitre.
The what?
The mitre.
The mitre. So that's something that goes on the head. So you would have one person saying, hey, see, that's written in the scriptures. We got mitre on. What's wrong with that? Go ahead.
The mitre of fine linen, and thou shalt make the girdle of needlework.
So now the mitre, the way it is it goes around and it has this top open. Okay, so now let's go to 1 Corinthians. First Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 4.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 4.
Assuming that we all know that the head of every man is Christ. Go ahead.
Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
Wait a second. So now it appears that the Lord doesn't want the men to pray or to prophesy having his head covered. It appears that he's now separating the followers of Christ from who? From the followers of men. Everybody understand that? Because here he said, take the covering off of your head. Every man that prayed, verse 1, be ye followers of me as I also am of Christ. Read that again for me.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
Go ahead.
And every woman that prayeth or prophesied with her head uncovered, dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one as if she were shaven.
All right. Where did Paul say that how he didn't learn how Christ had taught it to him? Because what Paul was teaching, he didn't come out of. A lot of times people think that it was opinionated. It was never opinionated. Yes, right. Galatians chapter 1, and I'll read it. I'll start from 1. It says, Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by men. I'll wait for you. Get up. Ready? Set. Let's go. Galatians 1 and 1. Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man. Not of men, neither by man. So when you read the letters of Paul, it ain't got nothing to do with man, not himself, but by Christ and God the Father who raised him up from the dead. Pay attention. Because in this class you're going to learn a lot of things that are contrary unto what you have believed and been taught. It says, and all the brethren which are with me unto the churches at Galatia, grace be to you and peace from God the Father and from our Lord Yahushua, whom the world calls Jesus Christ, who gave himself for our sins that he might deliver us from this present evil world according to the will of God and our Father. What is the present evil world that he's referring to? Men. Men. To whom be glory forever and ever. Amen. I marvel that you are so soon removed from him that called you unto the grace of Christ, unto another gospel, meaning to go back unto what men made up and have you to do, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and will pervert the gospel of Christ. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. So if anybody tell you anything from what you learned through following Christ, the scriptures say consider that person dead. Okay? You but a dead man. You're cursed. That's what it is. All right. Verse 9. As we have said before, so say I now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than ye have received, let him be accursed. A lot of you be like shaking hands. Brothers bringing in a different doctrine. You sitting here trying to correct them. You're trying to tell him, and he's trying to push some other doctrine and be like, well, it's cool. I'm like, nope, you'll see me. Nope, don't want that. Let them know I disagree with you, man. I don't agree that I got a doctrine and you got a doctrine. I don't have nothing. I'm barely breathing, man. I'm trying to survive. I'm earth and dust. The scripture said, let him be accursed. How many of you are afraid to let somebody know that you are accursed, that you are being rejected, that this doctrine that you're bringing in is condemning you and anybody that listens or following it based upon what you're doing and saying? That's the wrong thing. Don't be afraid to let somebody know that that's the wrong thing. Okay? For do I now persuade men or God, the Most High? Meaning, who am I trying to win? For do I seek to please men? For if yet I please men, I should not be the servant of Christ. But I certify you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man. So, Paul didn't get it after man. For I neither received it of man, meaning nobody taught me, neither was I taught it, but by revelation of Yahushua. So Yahushua revealed everything that he's saying. So it was by the will and spirit and power of the Most High that the Most High said, have the men to take it off. I'm going to see who's going to listen to me. Have them to take it off. So every brother that you see with whatever it is, the Shah, the Kufi, the Doofy, the Doom, the Bloom, the Bunt, all that, not listening to Yahushua. Not listening. I don't care how cool they are. Their whole objective is to look cool. The fashion. That's their thing. You are their ordinances. They say that I'm God in this situation. I stand. I know what it says, but I'm making a choice to do this. You gonna follow me? And my words of wisdom, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. Look at me. Don't I look good? Ain't I fly? And you get suckered by that thing. What did the Father say? That they supposed to take it off. What they say? No, it looks better with it on. Some of them be balding. So they have a reason to wear it. Because now it's a part of an outfit. Well, in the scriptures, there were balding men. One brother that was one of the most powerful brothers, Elisha, had a devil portion of the spirit that was on Elijah, was balding. He didn't, how would they know that he was balding if he had his head covered up? Which he could have, because this wasn't wrote at the time. He could have, but he had it uncovered and he was not ashamed to to show his bald. And the Most High stepped in defense because of his actions when they teased him and they were children and lost their life. So even children, don't think for one mistake that you're going to skip scot-free from judgment. The Most High will destroy you. Those children, bald head, bald head, bald head, and the Most High sent birds to chew them up, rip them to pieces. Okay, so to sit with that, that's just an example. Don't be ignorant in no thing. Don't be like, oh, because I do this, surely the Most High, he ain't gonna do nothing about it. Oh, he is gonna do something about it. Wait till you get ready to need something. Okay? And then when your problems come up, where is he gonna be at? He's gonna be laughing at you, man. Okay? Did we finish that? Where we was? Yeah? Okay. Psalms 5. Let's deal with the laughing part before we get there, so that we can finish our precepts. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. Like we're on the highway and we're traveling, you know, we're trying to make it home and we're going 70. I'm going to go a little bit 80 a little bit, all right? So, not Psalms 5, but Proverbs 1. Proverbs 1 and verse 20. Wisdom cried without. What is the wisdom? The Most High going to send forth servants, prophets, to teach you, to show you. Don't have respect to persons. It don't have to be somebody that you know in order for you to accept it. What does Hebrews 13:1 say? Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for some have entertained strangers, angels unaware. So the Most High has got his servants out here teaching, okay? So, Proverbs chapter 1 and 20. Wisdom is going to come out. The will of the Father is going to come out, okay? She uttered her voice in the streets. She cried in the chief place of concourse. Why is that? Why do we hit the streets? People be like, oh, y'all campers is the pits, man. Y'all out there doing this and this and this. Well, guess what? We are doing the work. Some of us are doing better jobs than others. And the ones that are not doing a good job, pray for them that they learn to do a better job, that they learn to be a little more patient with the people. But it's a necessity to get out there in the chief place of business, because that's where people are. Okay? It says, in the openings of the gates where people come in and out in the city, she uttered her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? Will you love being lawless and breaking the commandments of the Most High? And the scorners, what is a scorner? A scorner is one that will not be reproved. If you will not take correction, you are a scorner. And the scorners delight in their scorning. You delight in not being reproved. You delight in not listening. And fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. These are the type of people, we are the type of people that don't know right from wrong. But yet we have the audacity to turn down the knowledge because it challenges our path. It's like you're trying to walk down a way, somebody get in the way. Don't hate it because it challenges your path. That means, oh, I can't do X, Y, and Z because, brother, you bringing out the scriptures. The Father is bringing out the scriptures. He said, turn you at my reproof, not this brother's reproof. Okay? So now, Proverbs chapter 1 and 23, I will make known my words unto you because I have called. Here's the problem. This is when it goes wrong. You being in ignorance, okay, he knows. He the one put you there. Hold this and go to Romans 9. Okay, Romans chapter 9 and actually 8. Salakia, Romans chapter 8 and 20.
This is Romans 8 and verse 20. For the creature was made subject to vanity.
The creature is Israel. The Father put you there. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. The creature is who?
Israel.
Who made us subject to vanity? The Most High did. He gave us into the hands of our oppressors. Read.
Not willingly, but by reason of him who have subjected the same in hope.
Stop. You see where it says not willingly, you got to know the rest. He don't want you to perish from it. He wants you to do what from it? Learn from it. He wants you to learn from it. There ain't nobody looking at counting your sins. But what we are looking for you to do is to repent. Everybody understand that? Because we all have what begin with a P? Past. So whatever you learned on that path that was between you and the Most High, He gonna wash and make you clean. He ain't going to expose it to us unless you bring it back out. Unless you bring that sin back out. And now we got to reprove that sin. But at the hearing and the rebuke of the scriptures, you're supposed to be like, man, I was once a murderer. I was once a thief. I was once an idolater. I straight once believed in this and this and that. But at the preaching of the scriptures, that sin's supposed to be like, man, embarrassing to the point where you're like, man, let me not do that no more. And then, but you still going to remember because that's memory lane. You walk that path. You walk the mile in those shoes. So when it says not willingly, no, not willingly that it to destroy you. Okay? Or that you to perish by it. The vanity, he subjected you into that vanity. It says, by reason of him who have subjected the same in hope. Now he hoped that, guess what? You're going to come up out of it, and now you're going to shine. And now you're going to take the smarts, or you're going to take that street smarts that you had, and now you're going to take the wisdom of the scriptures, which passed that, and see why that was actually really a big dumb move to do all of those things. And then you can help somebody else that's stuck in that. Say, nah, man, you don't want to do that. God going to pay you back. You don't want to do that. It happens all the time. You know, I tell brothers, you don't want to do that, man. The Father going to pay you back, man. And sure, poop stinks, man. The brother be like, I'm in a jam, sham. Oh, man, it's so much I don't know I can bear it, man. It happened just like you said. I said, well, now that you got jacked up and it didn't happen, you got to keep moving, and now you got to tell somebody else what not to do because you let it happen to you. Boom. Okay? So, he subjected the same in hope. But because the creature itself shall be delivered from what? The bondage of corruption. And to the glorious liberty of the children of the Most High. So now let's go back. Proverbs chapter 1 and 24. Because I called and you refused. So while you in that, what is that? Vanity. The Most High is calling you. He's calling us when we in sin. That's why we can't go out. That's why we can't go out with a hard on for our people. We can't go out puffed up. We can't go out mad at our people. Brothers see the General Assembly out teaching the scripture. They're like, what does them do? Some Christians or something? They soft. Why they not yelling at the people? We're not yelling at the people because the Lord didn't teach us to send us out there to yell at the people. He sent us out there to speak unto the rock. Not smite the rock, speak unto it. They give them a choice. Because it's a 3-process thing, man. One man planted. What's the next one? Another man watered, and the Father get the increase. You think we're going to do all of them right down there on the street corner? Come on, man. It don't happen like that. So we're just going to go out there and speak. And hope that we can comfort somebody with the scriptures, and they say, you know what? I actually needed that. And then they're going to go home, and the scripture, when you read Ecclesiastes 12, it says the words of the wise are as nails fashioned by masters of assembly. So when you see somebody hammering a nail, boom, that thing is stuck in there, man. So our word's supposed to be stuck inside that person's mind. So when they go home, what are they going to be thinking about? They're going to be thinking about the word that the prophet has said unto them. Now they got to check. Now they going to come to the fork of the road, and they're going to make a decision based upon the Bible. People do fear the Most High, you know. Have faith in the thing that we're preaching. Okay? But it's the ones that don't, those are the ones that's going to have the problem, and that's what we're going to read. Okay? Proverbs chapter 1. He called, we refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. The Most High saying his hand to my brother, come. Using us. And they didn't pay attention to it. Okay, read the next one for me.
Verse 25. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof.
What is the set at naught all the counsel? No, that ain't going to work. That doesn't work for me. I hear that, brother, but that doesn't work for me. See, the way that I have my life set up, you know, I do it like this and I do it like that, you know. And the way that you do it is sin. That's what works for me. You set at naught the counsel. The counsel is not supposed to be optional. The counsel is supposed to show you, shine light in a dark place. But what did Christ say? But men love darkness rather than light. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 26. I will also laugh at your calamity.
See, he has a sense of humor. Yeah, where you think he is? Down in Nikes on the earth, living in Esau's apartment? No, man, the Father built the earth. He's sitting upon it. As a matter of fact, standing upon it, because the earth is his footstool. He's looking down upon you laughing because you made a poor decision in the simplicity of your mind, allowing yourself to be deceived. Now, God is laughter. He's laughing at you. Go ahead.
Verse 27. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you.
Right. I will mock when your fear cometh. Look at all of these things happen. Imagine this. We can imagine. Let's imagine the worst, but put it on. Because the Most High loves you. You're here. You're learning. You're trying. I'm going to put that on you. Let's put it on Esau. Have y'all seen the video? I saw a video today. I think I sent it. I sent it to where it's a 4-year-old baby that climbed a wall. Take this out. 4-year-old baby. He might have climbed like an 8-foot fence. 4 foot of brick wall. So he got it climbed up. He's 4 years old. He climbed up on a 4 foot. So he's probably about tall as you can get. Pulled himself up on it. But then he pulled himself up on 4 foot of fencing. And on the other side, I think it was a lot. So he climbs over. So eating my baby. So he climbs over. He climbs down. Falls down on the ground. Stands up. As soon as he stands up, 5 pack of wild dogs. Shook them. Big dogs with the little bootleg tails and everything, just wagging. They was hitting. They was all on. They was dragging them around the lot and everything. So now, imagine that when we tell this story. You are a parent, and you seeing that happen to your baby. 4 years old? Don't you know how innocent our babies are, man? 4 years old, they feet about that big, man. They little toes, they don't know right from wrong. They do, because you go through the terrible twos. But we don't count that against them. 4 years old? Okay. So now, Proverbs 1:26, I will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. You run up. You afraid. Are they gonna kill my baby, them dogs? I'm telling you to pack of them, 5 of them. If y'all ain't seen the video, let me know. I'll send it to you. God said he is making mock. How do you make mock to somebody? What they do, you do. So if you come out screaming like this, what is he on the throne doing with the crown? He got the crown on. God is a black man. He got the crown on, right? He gonna cock it a little bit, right? So when you come out like that, he like, So you did it, he did it. So you was wicked. Yeah, you were wicked. He spent time trying to tell you. Sorry, speaker does that when they get slow. Sorry. He spent time trying to tell you to stop. I'm gonna do this to you. Stop. I'm gonna what?
Do this to you.
Stop. I'm gonna do this to you. The prophets was sitting there telling you, stop, man. Something gonna happen unto you. But no. You didn't want to stop. You just had to have it your way. So now, he like, He's doing the same thing. He's like straight mocking you. When your fear cometh as desolation, that's in your mind. When your destruction, this is the physical part, coming as a whirlwind. Haven't y'all seen the tornadoes that came down through Ferguson? What was it? How many years ago that's been? About 4 or 5 years ago. I walked through there. I was astonished. Never seen nothing like that. Listen. It was like a giant had walked through the city. Everything was falling over one way. I'm telling you, it looked like a giant had just walked through. Dum, 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 dum. Just march through. Everything was one way. Man, he said, when your destruction is like that, when distress, what is stress? Distress, stress. You stressed out. You're like, oh, I'm stressed out. And anguish. And now you're disappointed. Coming upon you. Then shall they call upon me. He said, but I will not answer. They shall seek me, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge. When the prophets were trying to tell you, that's when you hated it. But you was drinking, eating on candy bars, fried chicken, Kentucky fried chicken, barbecue and all that stuff. You was doing your thing. Now that your life is messed up, or the Most High, He know how to hurt you. He knows what your treasure is. In the black community, what should be our number one treasure other than the Father? What is what's our next, the carnal mind, what's our treasure? Somebody else. In the black community, what is the black? I'm saying it trying to trick you because I don't want to give the answer. What is our treasure? What you say?
No, you said
okay. What is our treasure? Okay, Bunyan.
Is that the recreation center?
No, man. The recreation center. No. You think you know?
Yeah.
What?
Our family.
Okay.
I was going to say a kid.
That's right, the children. Your children. Yeah, your children. So he knows that. So he'll target your children. Yeah. So we don't have this experience in the loss of a child. That shakes the core. The core is the physical strength of a body, man. That shakes you down to the core. And a lot of Israelites, they face that. In the truth, out of the truth. This sister and brother, a couple weeks ago, lost a 1-year-old baby to an accidental drowning. Living in a motel, the baby fell over in the cooler while they were sleeping, drowned to death. But the thing that that some of you don't realize is, they not somebody that's far distant. They're an extension of this assembly. You don't have to be in another city. You don't have to be very far off for the Father to touch you. All you got to do is keep doing what you're doing. And your number going to come up. That's all you got to do. What do you think Hosea 4 and 6 is about? We don't want to go there, but I do, but for time constraint. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. But do you know what the rest of it says? Not you, man. You know a lot. It's too much is, what is it? Much is given, much is required. All that is required of you. The latter part of that thing says, because you reject knowledge, the Lord said, I will also reject your children. So when you reject the knowledge of the scriptures, your children going to be out there doing whatever they want to do because they following their own mind anyway. He going to knock them down. And that's because we were none of his reproof. And we despise, and none of the counsel, and we despise the reproof. Verse 31, therefore shall they eat the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. But the turning away of the simple shall slay them. The Bible says that the Most High is saying that his commandments are simple, and when we turn away from them, that is what's going to kill us. The stuff that we turn away from, that's what's going to get us jacked up. And the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. What is the prosperity of fools? when we see other people in a prosperous life, we're like, oh, that's fine. I want to do that. Guess what? That's what got us to seed, and that's what got us jacked up. Okay? Let's see. Bringing it on home. Psalm chapter 5. Let's make sure we finish that. Yeah, we did. And then we finished. That was Psalms 81. Yeah, we'll call it finish. Luke 8. And to the point, Luke 8 and 14.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 8, and verse 14. And that which fell among thorns are they, which when they have heard, go forth, and are choked with the cares and riches and pleasures of this life.
One more time.
This is Luke chapter 8 and verse 14. And that which fell among thorns
And
are
that
they.
which fell among thorns, or are they? Just talking about the word. So we, the thorns being Israel. A lot of you don't think that you're thorns and briars. Well, you are. And we're trying to get this word out to you. It says, when they have heard, go forth and are choked. Choked. When you're choking, the first thing you're trying to do is what? Spit it out. Because it's, you know what I'm saying? It's stopping you, right? Well, what's choking this word? What's making us lawless? The cares, responsibilities, obligations. You know, different wiles. You can have something that appear to be righteous, lawful, and that could take you away from this truth. Oh, I take care of my mama. You care for your mother? Yeah, that's right. I care for my mother. That's an excuse that you're using. You don't want to, come to class. You don't want to learn. You don't believe. Cares. Oh, I gotta have a second job. I got the second job because I have to pay for this, that, and the third. I help my daughter pay for her tuition. Your daughter's in the world. You shouldn't even be helping her no way, not like that. She's disobedient. You're disobedient, you'd be better off getting something off the ground from me. You're disobedient, man. Okay? Why did I say that? That sounds like a hard statement. And you're going to have to learn. Y'all got to learn this Bible instead of learning emotions. You don't deal in emotions. It's a time for affection. But you got to deal righteously. I'm trying to close it, but I'm going to justify that precept. Because my son snickered. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. So what was the stipulations? Why did I say you would have to get it off the ground? Because what? Disobedient. Okay. Please ask us chapter 3 and 8. Read that.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 8. Honor thy father and mother.
Stop. What did it say? Honor thy father and mother. It didn't say be disobedient. Read.
Both in word and deed.
Right. Both in word. Okay. Meaning keep your word, listen to their word, and do their actions that they ask. Go ahead.
That a blessing may come upon thee from them.
That a blessing may come upon thee from them. So some of you breaking your neck to bless your children, and your children are demons. They stressing you out. You working a whole nother job to help somebody that's you don't understand. That's the nicest way I can say it. You do not understand. And you know that your children be stressing you out. Some of your children go out there and go and do something and get in jail. You put your house on the line for the children. And you sit up there and you've been telling them, you might not even be, they don't even be in truth all the way. Or, they don't even know nothing about the truth. But they had common sense to know that I've been telling this boy. You say it like that. I've been telling you, boy, and you did it anyway. Now you talking about mama. They talking about this and this. All right. You gonna be, yeah. All right. Boo Boo the Fool gonna be there. I ain't coming. I ain't gonna be there. I'm flat telling you. Because you had a head start. I stand over mines. I'm in mine's life. And guess what? You got all these from the cradle until when you an adult to be listening. If you miss it, then you turn around and now I'm in the golden years. I'm supposed to be laid back. Now you finna stress me and that I got to get my house up because you didn't listen none of that time. Who is the fool? It ain't me, man. I'm sorry. It ain't me. Not coming. I'm not coming. I'll be here when you ready to listen. Because the advice was there from the beginning. It was never wrong. You were wrong. Now you're going to take me and you up under. Because you have a pattern of doing the wrong thing. What's going to happen to my house now? It's going to be gone. They're going to take it. They're going to take it. So, the blessing comes from honoring. Verse 9.
For the blessing of the father establisheth the houses of the children.
Right, because they listen. So when you listen, when the children listen up, you want to be blessed? That's, sisters and brothers, that's when you bless your children. When they honor you, man. When they honor you, that's when you bless them. That's when, okay, I'm going to give you this niche. I'm going to help you out. You know what I'm saying? I made this money. I did this. I did that. I served this. The Most High blessed me. I'm finna slide this over to you, man. Make sure that you continue. Make sure that you have a pattern of good work so that once you have a child, then you can do the same thing. But if they destroy their life, they will destroy yours. And you give them some type of blessing, they will destroy theirs too. Give you an example. I got a sister, a sibling. I'm a caretaker for her house. A lot of times, the repairs. I do the maintenance. A lot of times, she don't want to do the repairs like pulling her teeth. And a phone call from me is like, runs her blood pressure up. You understand? She like, because I know he's saying something is wrong. So I hate to make the call. I started to say, well, should I just call from a different number? That way, because you can get a phone call from somebody and then the stress can start because you see the number. You're like, oh man, it can start that. But if it pop up on you, take you by surprise, then, it's not that bad because the conversation might not be that bad. So I started to say, should I just call from a different number? But so I honestly asked her, I said, this house, she wants to leave it to her son. I said, this house, do you think that maybe you know, you want to get out of this and leave the stress behind. I said, it's not that I want it. It's not like that. I'm fine. I got places. I'm cool. I said, but maybe you should sell it. I would talk myself out of work. You know what I'm saying? Because like, maybe you should sell it, cash out, and then you don't have to deal with this. You know, because she got to pay for this repair, that repair. You know, sometimes it doesn't happen as fast as she wants. Because when people when their mind ain't in the right state, what do you think they're going to do with it? Y'all see North St. Louis? Do y'all know what happened to our city, our community over here in North St. Louis? Know what happened? Because those parents left their houses to lawless people to where their mind ain't ready. Their mind ain't into that. So if you expect somebody to take care of it like you will, if their mind ain't right, they left a blessing to somebody that did what? Walked off and left it. They walked off and left it. This pattern ain't gonna stop. These scriptures are not wrong. Your affection is wrong. Your emotion is wrong. Leave it to him and see what he do. He gonna do what everybody else do. Let the white boy sell him an apartment. Let the city take it for taxes. And then after a few years gone and he tired of paying rent, he gonna be thinking about, man, I should have took that house. But it's too late. It's caved in. You bless them if they honor you. If they don't honor you, let them swim. Still, but don't ever stop. You know, it's your child. Hey, I got some advice for you. Look at it, come here. This is the scriptures. That's what you give them, man. But don't let them pull you up under. All right? Words from the wise. It's real. It says it's right here. So, let's lose that. Is what we're going to have to stop. Luke chapter 8. Luke 8 and 14. We're back there. It says, cares choke this world. Choke in riches, in pleasures of this life. That's what choked the word. And bring forth no fruit to perfection. If you let cares, riches, and pleasures of this life come between the scriptures, you ain't gonna never be able to be perfect. You're gonna always be flawed, and flawed is not good enough. So we're gonna end it there, or I will keep going. So we do have to close with some precepts, then send up prayers. Matthew 26. And Dwight, don't let me forget to get some Sabbath day flyers. So, before we get out of here, Exodus 16 and 23, this was a request before class started. Exodus 16 and 23, Israel, this was a request before class started. It says, he said unto them, this is that which the Lord have said, tomorrow is the rest. So when it says rest, it's talking about the date, the Sabbath. It says rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Check it out. Bake, so that's your oven. Bake that which you will bake. Remember, the microwave is called easy bake oven. That's what it used to be called, an easy bake oven. Okay? The regular oven, microwave. What else? Yeah, so now the seething, that's the boiling. That's what that part gonna come in at. because the crock pot, you typically use that to steam and to boil. That's dealing with the water, or a regular pot or coffee pot and things like that. So it says seeth. Seeth means to boil. Seeth that which you will seeth, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. So you have to do it all before even. Okay? And they laid it up till the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink. Neither was there any worms therein. So there's nothing wrong with it. So if you got coffee, for you coffee drinkers, if you boil it, you got to learn to drink it cold in. You know, if you got to boil it and then just leave it in the pot, of course, you know, coffee ain't going bad. And if you were a coffee lover, like I was a coffee lover, but I never could drink it cold, you can always get the iced coffee in the carton, you know, and you can just drink that like that. Other than that, you gotta get your poison before and get your poison afterwards. You know, we always say choose your poison, right? Meaning that's what is it you like to drink. So Exodus 35. Exodus 35:1, Moses gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel together and said unto them, these are the words which the Lord hath commanded that ye should do them. Verse 2, 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day there shall be unto you a holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death. Verse 3, ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day. So the kindling of fire is going into the baking and the seething. Don't bug out. It's not going into the hot water tank or the furnace. It's not going into that. It's very specific. It told you what to do in Numbers 16 and 35 about baking and boiling. Okay? So the other thing about the buying and the selling, y'all crystal on that part, right? All right. So when you have to when somebody needs to schedule repairs for your house, schedule it before or after the Sabbath, not on the Sabbath. The repairman would want to come in, just decline it. Come on Monday then. You know, remember Exodus 20, it says, let's get that very quickly. Some of you got that cable TV that went out. They said they could come out Saturday. No, the heck you won't. You don't let them do it. Let them come out on Monday and fix it, okay? Exodus chapter 20 and verse 10, it says, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. You, that means thou, nor thy son, so that's your son, thy daughter, here the part is, thy manservant. So not somebody coming in to do service for you. That's what a servant is. He's a man, you know. Yeah, he's got the little feet covering on. I ain't gonna get nothing on your floors and stuff. But it's the Sabbath. It's the Sabbath day, so he can't come. Okay. Maid servant, nor the cattle, nor the stranger that's within thy gate. So even if somebody live with you, somebody come visit you from the weekend, they have to do what you do. There's a Sabbath day. Don't be afraid. Sit them down. Don't be afraid to sit them down and say, hey, if you want to stay here, we don't cook because it's the Sabbath. We keep the Sabbath day of rest. And explain it to them. The Father will give them the spirit to understand. They will reason with them. Say, no, this is not, we don't do that. So, you know, if you think that you can't abide by this, then you're going to have to find someplace else to stay. You know, I think I could do that. It's cheaper than a motel, right? There you go. So, no lawn cuts. That's right. No lawn cuts on the Sabbath day. Oh, you know they come back. Like, what is this? But we should be seasoned. That's okay. We'll get seasoned. We'll get seasoned enough to where we already know. You know, tell them in advance. Do not do it. Give you an example. Then we got to close in Matthew 26. It's been 2006. This happened. So this is 18. So this is, what's that map? 12 years. So listen up. So I was doing this house. And this tuck pointer wanted the house next door to me. I got a 3-story house. Boom, boom, boom. Next door to me is another 3-story house. So that's what I do, remodeling and stuff like that, construction remodeling. So I told this lady I can fix your house and make it really nice. So got it going. So I hired a tuck pointer to go around, tuck point the whole house. So the front porch got like a little pitch. So I told this guy, he's trying to get to the next payment, right? He do a side, he get paid. Do a side, get paid. Do a side, get paid. So he was on the front. So he wanted to do this so he could get paid. I told him, it was Friday. I said, no, you got to wait. It's a Sabbath. You cannot work on the Sabbath. I will not come and let you in. Listen, I will not come and let you in. I live next door. I will not come and let you in. You cannot work on the Sabbath. You do not have my permission. Oh, hope he's gone. No? So, let's up. 2012. This is 18. No, 2000 what? 6. This is 18, 12 years ago. So this guy, what he does, he takes a bucket and a board, and empty paint bucket. So he's sitting on the gable roof, paint bucket and a board. I'm trying not to laugh. As soon as he moves or flinch, he falls off the roof into my yard. I don't know who found him. I don't know who found him. They say the man fell off the roof. I'm like, what? I go out there, he's breathing like a fish out of water. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? The first thing I did was like, I'm saying to myself, I wasn't in sound, I'm like, I told you, it's the Sabbath. Don't be out here. He did it on his own. So I go up to the hospital, see him all jacked up. And then he had the nerve to try to say, you come up here because you don't want me to sue you. I said, shit, how you gonna sue me? I told you that you can't work. It's the Sabbath day. You did this to yourself. So after the little visit, I just burned out and left. And I think I had to hire somebody else to finish it, man. Because he was jacked up. He lived, but he learned too. He fell off the roof, man, on the Sabbath day. So now don't have people working on the Sabbath day, man. They're gonna, if they don't listen to you, they can hurt themselves. So Matthew 26. Matthew 26:6. Now when Yahushua, whom the world calls Jesus, was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is his waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahushua, whom the world calls Jesus, understood it, he said unto them. So whenever y'all going to say the Lord's name in Hebrew, just go ahead and interpret it. So whoever's listening, just say whom the world calls Jesus. And say, yeah, they call him Jesus, but we say Yahushua because we know his Hebrew name. That way people will understand. Because if not, then you're only edifying yourself. They're going to be like, they're going to think you're onto something. They know that he was a Hebrew. They should. Okay? Why trouble you the woman? So that's what he said to his disciples. For she have wrought a good work upon me, for you have the poor always with you, but me you have not always. For that shall pour this ointment on my body. She did it for my burial. So she came to give Christ some comfort. He lived a hard life. And also he knew that his day and hour was coming because the Most High had revealed it to him. So she was giving him some comfort. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman have done be told for a memorial of her. So if you never read this, some homework. Read Luke 7:36 to the end. Luke 7:36 to the end. And that's going to tell you more about this sister Mary Magdalene, whom Christ cast out 7 devils. It never made a distinction and said that the devil that she had was whoredom. So don't give her a jacket And the scripture never said. It just said that he cast out 7 devils. She could have had 7 other sins. You understand? Pineapple thief or something, you know. Camel booster. She was jacking camels. You know, she was bad jacking camels. You know, could have been like a ninja or something, you know. Who knows? All women are not whores. You understand? Israel is so sexual, they just think that every sin is about whoredom and wickedness, you know. So, but to see her repent, you know, he was, because when you read Luke, she gonna be crying. That's the sister with the long hair and washed his feet with the tears of her head and wiped them with the hairs. That's her. You know, she had a broken and contrite heart. See, that's the spirit the Father don't despise. Not somebody correcting you, telling you, no, man. That sister, man, she was, because she understood that, man, I could be destroyed. I could have lost my life. I could be rejected. Do we not know that if we're rejected, that we don't get accepted? I don't think we realize that. If you get rejected, you do not get accepted. I'm going to accept you at another date. No. Now, you could be getting jacked up, and the Most High, you're going to be a vessel that He's going to choose, but then you're going to be jacked up. Either way is terrible, because who wants to get... I'm just not the person, you know. I just don't want no static. That's just me. I don't want no problem, B. I'm scared of you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no problem, you know, with the Most High. So Israel, that's how y'all should feel. I don't want no problem with the Most High. You're going to make it hard, shit. All right. So the communion, Christ said for us to do this. And then that's it. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and 23. I don't want to know if they've been rejected. Because your spirit, you don't have a spirit to keep the commandments. You know, you're not keeping the commandments, and regardless of what's being said, then that's high tail time. That's a rejection. Then you're supposed to prove, like, man, I don't want this. Then you should be trying to start keeping the commandments. That's a good question. How does one know when they have been rejected? Because next, the judgment comes. The correction stops. First you stop, then the correction stops, then the judgment comes. In that order. You stopped. The first line of thinking, you stopped. You hated reproof, so it stopped. Reproof stopped. Okay? 1 Corinthians 11 and 23, for I received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua, you will hear us say Hamashiach. That's how you say Messiah in Hebrew. Hamashiach Yahushua, whom the world calls Lord Jesus. This very same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. So you know that's the Passover. He got killed on the Passover. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat, this is my body which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. So just imagine somebody breaking something and saying, hey, I'm going to go through this for you. They're like, really? Do you not know that this is in 12 different pieces now? That's how he got beat. I feel like he was broken in 12 pieces. But he said, do this in remembrance of me. Meaning this come together and commemorate. So if you're going to remember what he did, you're going to be thinking about his walk and not just, oh, you know, put all the sins on him. That's how Christianity is. All the sins on him, we got to do nothing. All the sins on him, we got to do nothing. No, you got to do something, man. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as often as ye drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily, not fully committed, not serious, shall be guilty. He's going to find you guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. Why? Because the Spirit of the Father in Christ is trying to live in you. and you allowing your sins to put it out. So that's bad for you. That's why you're going to be found guilty of like killing Christ. But let a man examine himself, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, meaning judgment. So this for each and every last brother to examine yourself. So no brother or sister should tell another brother or sister, nah, this ain't for you. Don't you do this. You're not ready for this. Because you might be to capacity. I could be telling you, feeding you, do this and do this and do this, but the Father has maxed your brain out. I'm overfeeding you for real. Everything that you fully comprehend and understand, you're actually applying it. But I see you stumbling over the things that I'm trying to teach you. And in my sight, you look like you're not worthy of this. I can't do you like that. So the examination is, if you are doing everything that you possibly know and understand to do, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. Because if you eat and drink and you know that you could be doing better, or, you know, we all could be doing better. But let's say, for instance, you know that you could be doing the type of better to where, like, hey, I ain't doing nothing and I need to do something. That advice is maybe you should, like, wave it off. It's a difference. Like, I'm going to use myself as an example. I could do better in some things, right? But I'm not walking to where I'm like, I'm just forsaking everything that the scriptures are teaching me. You understand? So, I could do better. Sometimes I feel I'm a little bit too blunt. That's, give you an example. Blunt meaning like, you know, you don't always have to be like that. But after it comes out, then I'm like, give me that back for real. I'm not trying to be a monster. I really don't mean to be like that. I just want the best for you. You get what I'm saying? That's a person I'm saying I could do better. You understand? But as far as I have not forsaken assembly, I have not forsaken, you know, just taking the laws and just doing, I'm just leaning on grace and, you know, Christ died for me. Christ died for the nation, not just one person. He died leaving us an example to be the follower. So I hope that we can understand by that little scenario, because I don't want anybody to feel like, well, I can't take the communion. You know, take the communion. If you're doing the best that you can do, God knows and you knows. So keep it moving. If you know you stand corrected, then stand corrected. And when you show back up, if you've done different and you've done better, then you won't feel the way that you felt the last time. You should feel better than you did the last time, because you did something better. Like, change yourself. If you won't change, you must change yourself. Okay, so now, for this cause, many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. If we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. If you simply stop, you will not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. So the Lord said, if you don't stop, He's going to get you. Plain and simple. Have anybody in here never not caught the mouse? Yeah. We always catch it. We always catch the mouse. All you got to do is keep putting the trap down. Keep rebaiting it. Keep putting different traps. We always catch it. You're going to get caught. The Most High is going to get you. All right? If we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. All you got to do is stop. If you don't stop, He's going to catch you. One of the traps He laid down, you're going to walk right into it. And like a bear trap in the wilderness, you're going to cry to Him then. I'm so sorry. He going to laugh. Remember Proverbs 1. He going to laugh. He like, oh, that trap got him. Who's on his right hand? Christ. Oh, Dad, you did get him. Look. Father and Son, man. He don't get you. You know, see, y'all never think of it like that. But it's brilliant. Most High, in the name of Christ, thank you for the food, drink, amen. This is body which is broken for you. This is blood. So I'm going to read this last thing, and then we're going to stand and face the Jerusalem. So it's Matthew 26 and 29. This is the communion still, but it's in Matthew. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. So the communion, the Messiah is going to drink this thing with Israel. So it's going to be a big toast. It's going to be a big toast, man. Okay? So that's it, Israel. We're going to stand and face Jerusalem. This way, east. All right. Okay, Israel.
If every man was just like me, what kind of sanctuary would this be?
The Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6 and 9. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debt to us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The laborers pray, Luke 10 and 2. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the labors are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth labors into his harvest. Bless you, Most High, King of heaven and earth, and all things, Most High, in the name of Christ. Send more disciples and teachers to your harvest, to gather your people Israel, and send counsel behind your laws. This time before thy people Israel, give to us strength to break down our lives with thy word. And in Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The blessing of Israel, Numbers chapter 6 and 24. Children of Israel, the Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And in Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Children of Israel, bless one another.
The Most High name of Christ bless you all.
Oh, good buddy. They've been flying stuff and moving stuff with our minds.
I don't know. Hey, Yash, you invited them? They on the Sabbath schedule?
Yeah, actually, Shavy talked to her. She was down there with me when I met her. So she, it's my family.
Okay, hold on for a second. All right, Israel Solomon, Father, bless, let y'all brothers and sisters go. All right, brother. Anybody need me? Y'all know where to hit me up in the inbox, all right? What's up, Hezekiah? Shalom, brother. What's up, Hez? Hezekiah, I got the black seed oil, brother. I'm gonna have to hit you up. All praises, man. I'm gonna have to hit you up for the instructions, man. You can tell me how to deal with it, bro. What's up, Yarel? Adam, Chris. What's up, Darren? Just thinking about getting some of that black seed oil. I don't have a key, so don't leave. To lock this door. It works. All right, let me check it out. I hit you up. You can tell me about it works. Did you? Oh, you give them something?
They said they already knew.
Oh, they.
I tried to offer them. They like they already been on it. So
They already do.
been on it since like.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
All right, Chisro.
You get flyers tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, we do. I've been told y'all.
Well, no, it just started back over.
Yeah, I know it. All right. All right, Israel. Y'all hit me up in the inbox. Sister, tell me how it works. Inbox me. We'll chop it up, all right? I want to know all the benefits. I'll look them up too, but you can tell me, yeah, I need it for some of that. You feel like a champ? All right, champ. I want to hear some stuff, man. I want to hear some stuff because, yeah, I'm fighting it too. So I don't understand how I'm fighting it, and I got a vegan diet and everything. But this doctor said that she's seen, you're welcome, said she's seen some stranger things, you know. She's seen heavyweight people that eat crazy and nothing, but then she's seen some people with, you know, healthy as an ox and still have that high pressure. So, yeah, we'll talk. I was telling them brothers to leave, not to go because I don't have the key. Just relax, it's okay.
She gonna ride with you.
All right, y'all, let me get out of here. All right, y'all pray for me, all right? I'm gonna pray for y'all. Shalom.